welcome the bridal party into the auditorium. You look great. Please be seated. That was very nice. Beautiful to be together. Isn't that really what it's all about? Opportunity to share this day of joy with your friends. And it is your wedding day. It is your wedding day. And yet we're going to discuss honorable marriage in God's sight. So not just today, but life everlasting together. Just so excited for you. It's interesting that marriage is a worldwide custom. We have people here today in our audience from many different countries. And everywhere, people get married. They have this custom. But it's not a phenomenon. It's an arrangement from God. He set it in motion with the first human pair. So we're going to read about that and take some lessons from that. And then we're going to give you an opportunity to say your vows. So let's take a look at what the Bible has to say, because we want our marriage to be successful. And so we're going to look to the originator of the marriage. We're going to look in Genesis chapter 2. And I wanted to mention, I brought my Bible with me, and I also have my electronic Bible. And I was thinking if they forgot to bring their Bible, I would give them this one. And then I came here, and I saw you had your Bible sitting there. And it really, really made me so happy to see that you were thinking about that. It's so good. It's such a good sign about your spirituality. So let's look at a few scriptures. We're going to start with one in Genesis chapter 2, the beautiful account. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 21 and 22. It says, "So Jehovah God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took one of his ribs and then closed up the flesh over its place. And Jehovah God built the rib that he had taken from the man into a woman." And notice, "and he brought her to the man." So maybe that's why most weddings have a procession, where the man is waiting and the bride comes in. And we just did that, and it was such a beautiful thing. Beautiful music, and your friends here with you dressed so nicely. It's a beautiful thing. You did right. So this is not like many view marriage. This is a special, lifelong provision. And that's in the scriptures as well. If we go to just a few verses later, it says in verse 24, Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, "That is why a man will leave his father and his mother, and he will stick to his wife, and they will become one flesh." So it's to be a permanent, lifelong arrangement. And for we as God's people with our hope of everlasting life, that's a long time, right? And that is the arrangement. So we know that you will have success. And we're going to talk about how that can be possible today and forever. Because we said Jehovah God's the originator of the marriage, and he's a happy God, he's a joyful God. In fact, he's a God of love. It makes sense that those things would be in your marriage. And we already see that they are the way you are together. We've had some time to see you interact. Patient, joyful, and happy, and of course lasting. So how can we do that? There is a segment in our talk where we're going to talk about how to have a happy, lasting marriage, and also some advice and even counsel from the Bible for the husband and the wife. So let's first talk about that. How can we make our marriage last in love and happiness? Well, here's a few things that we can take away from they're kind of stepping stones. The first is putting Jehovah first in our married life. So one of your relatives, it was Retina, one of your cousins, when I asked him about you, he said, "My cousin Retina, she loves Jehovah and her family." And that struck me because that's Jehovah first. Yes, of course you love Craig, and no greater love will come from you, greater than the love you have for Craig, except your Creator. So you already have a reputation of doing that, and we know you'll switch from that love of your family, and that will maybe become third place. It will still be very great, but now your love is going to be focused on your husband. Jesus himself said the greatest commandment is to love God And he didn't say, unless you get married, then your mate comes before God. So keeping that up in both of your lives. Craig, many mentioned your good qualities. We'll talk about that a little bit. I kind of secretly interviewed your friends and family. So that's what your reputation is. And we know you'll just continue that, and actually together that will blossom into, your love for Jehovah will blossom into something even greater as a couple. The Bible describes marriage as a twofold cord, and we think about a rope or anything that you might be engineering on a building. If you had two wound together, it would be stronger than one. And if there was a three-fold cord or three cables together, imagine how strong that will be. And so that represents you, Retina, you, Craig, and Jehovah God. That strongest cord bound together. Like the ropes that hold ships at bay, or in your field, Craig, with engineering, like a cable holding a building or even a tower. So we know that you will do that, and therefore, this scene right here, if we take a picture of that moment of you two sitting together, not in your wedding clothes, but in every day, each morning, reading the Bible together, that is the scene that will keep you happy, is studying the Bible together. Reading the Bible together daily, praying together, no matter where you are, what circumstances, what situation you're in, saying that prayer, one prayer at least each day together. Not letting a day pass. Just like a day wouldn't pass without eating, you're thinking as a husband, oh, I haven't prayed today. I got up early and went to work. I need to make sure I do that. That's going to keep your marriage strong. That's advice from many, many, many couples who have been married for decades. Praying together, reading the Bible together each day. Now, we said we'd talk a little bit toward each of you in the marriage arrangement. We have a husband and a wife. Why is Craig the head? Why did Jehovah choose the man as the head? Let's find out in 1 Corinthians 11. We'll look at some scriptures that kind of help the framework of your marriage. 1 Corinthians in verse 11. Chapter 11, excuse me. 1 Corinthians chapter 11. And we'll read verse 3. So we're in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I want you to know that the head